welcome to yet another episode of Sports In. Always great to have your company. Now look, on the show, we have a number of stories coming up for you. Some are good stories and there's also a better story as well. We'll be showing you later on the show. But the best one is Adrine Monagi has taken Rally Caputin Sport to attend the World Champs coming up later this month in Qatar. That story is where she will talk about her preparations. That story coming up later on the show. But before we start with our first story, let's take a look at what else is coming up on the show. We begin with cricket, and the PNG Laos bowed out of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup qualifiers on fourth placing following 2 losses. Now, their last match was against Thailand on Saturday last week in the semis, where they lost by 7 wickets for 67 runs.
Papua New Guinea Laos' hopes of reaching the World Cup in Australia 2020 crumpled, losing to Thailand by 8 wickets in the semi-finals. Winning the toss and opting to bat first, the Laos struggled with losing an opener very early on in the innings. Sibona Jimmy, who has been impressive throughout the tournament, was not in her best shoes as she scored 13 runs with a strike rate of 45, dismissed by Thailand to the round. The dismissal spree ultimately ended PNG scoring on 67 for 7 in 20 overs. Thailand easily chased and reached the target within 18 overs. This being their first time to play in a major ICC tournament. In the third and fourth playoff, Laos played against Ireland in the sunny conditions of Forfarshire. PNG unfortunately fell to early wickets from a good line and length bowling from Ireland. Konyo Oala showed a brief glimpse of her best before falling to an easy catch by Richardson at 35 runs for 31. With Myri Tom and Isabel Toa taking the wickets, Ireland only needed 21 runs from 66. The Laos bowling front just wasn't good enough, giving 18 extras, taking only 2 wickets, Ireland winning the innings with 86 runs for 11 overs. PNG takes its leave on 4th placing in the T20 World Cup qualifiers.
Now, one of our para-athletes, Stephen Abram, will be attending the World Champs in China in the next couple of weeks. That story coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Sports In. Now, it was an eventful day at the Business Softball Diamonds on Saturday with the Palm Corporate Softball Slope Pitch competition going into grand final. 6 teams took to the field in a final effort to announce their dominance in the 2019 tournament. Clad in respective colors with a touch of their own style, spectators, family members, friends, and of course, the grand finalists took on the day. And it was in fact Pool A's Edaranu who came in with a winner's confidence long before they took on the main match against Remington. Party poppers going off and their mascot, Ranu Mero, busting some moves, Team Edaranu made their entrance into a grand final that would end sooner than expected. Their opponent, Remington, came through to grand final after beating All Search. In the eliminations the previous weekend did not give much of a fight in this ultimate showdown. It took 3 big hits from the Water People that allowed 4 home runs to rattle the Remington side. and it didn't take long before the runner cruised to a comfortable 8, while their opponent eventually put 2 points on the score sheet. Speak of high pressure, the water people applied exactly that. Remington couldn't push further than that third base as well, credit to Adrine's superb fielding, locking their opponents at just 2 points with no further home runs. The umpire eventually had to apply the messy rule, calling that game off when Adrine reached 12 points to Remington's 2. Such a great performance from your team. You must be very happy today.
Oh yes, I'm very proud and very happy for the win today against Remington. We deserve the win.
Throughout the season, who was the strongest competition? Any team in particular?
It was Oil Surge, and I think we lost to Swire Shipping, but otherwise we were on the top since the season started. So
that's great. Will we be seeing you next year?
Definitely next year. We'll come back and get claim the win again next year.
Meanwhile, the Digital's win did not come easy in the Pool B Grand Final against Cardinal Lions. It was a tit-for-tat until Digital broke away with a points lead and went on to win the final at 11 points to 10. And in the LA match, PricewaterhouseCoopers and Chukai met in Pool C Grand Final, where the PwC side proved to be the better team with a 4-3 win.
It has been a 7-weekend competition for us, and I'm sure that all of you have enjoyed playing this sport, softball. I'm sure that we will also see some of these players that have participated in this comp come through into our season's competition, which is going to commence in October. We'd like to encourage that to happen. Even your children as well, from the corporate houses, if you can bring them forward. We've actually grown this competition, from 12 teams to 18 teams to 24 teams, went as far as 40 teams, and this season 34 teams. So we encourage you corporate teams that are here to give that same support to the new executives of our association in the new season. Our association drives through in this competition, the gender-based violence against women and children, provides the awareness against breast and cervical cancer, and to provide the awareness against HIV and AIDS. So we run a worthy course whereby we provide awareness to our women affiliates who have clubs that exist in our competition. So your support, as you putting your team towards that, helps us and assists us to run those awareness. So thank you for that.
About 5 months ago, we spoke to a young man who was on the verge of debuting at the Pacific Games. He was first identified at the 2017 PNG Games in Kimba when he represented Team Central and came away with 2 gold medals in the 100 and 200 meters and a silver medal in the 400-meter ambulant. His name is Stephen Abraham, and he is a para-athlete whose next stop is the World Para-Athletics Championship in Japan. From the high-performance gyms at Tarama Aquatic Center to the tracks at the Sojourn Guys Stadium for trainings, early mornings and late afternoon sessions under the guidance of Peter Pulu and coaches at the High Performance Center, this has been the training regime for 20-year-old Abraham since the beginning of this year, because this was his year of not just debut, but debuts. First, it was the World Paralympic Championship in China he had to prepare for and later attended in February, which makes it his breakthrough into the international scene. He later makes the squad for the Pacific Games, where he would again enter as a debutant in the region's biggest sporting event, and that means he would have to attend the IAAF Games in Darwin in March, using it as a preparational platform. The Pacific Games came and went in July, and Stephen is now preparing to take on the World Championships, an ultimate appearance to top of his debut year.
Me come training every day because me go to Japan. This September 10, me go to Japan. Me stop 2 weeks to Japan because I'm 1 week. I'm me na coach me Peter Pulu. I'm attending camp. Me play go around no Kens. Me play go around no Samoa. Me come first. Me I'm a straight. Me give glory now na big man because me come first. Me pray and me come first. To run me too. Me go training, looking forward to training because me go community me to training. So me time me run me look me fit to come first. Side the time was 100 meter blow me 11:38, 200 blow me 23 flat, 400 blow me 55. Me need to run 100 meter because me need to qualify lo this la well para lo 2020 by come up lo Tokyo. So time me ko travel lo 1 map me must down in time lo me go 11:1 or 11:2 lo me lo qualify. Me after the Pacific Games, me come back, me feeling more same. Me like training more. Me like happy name the country do me PNG. Yeah, na me looking forward lo go lo can country lo run one time more, challenge one time more, happy name the country do me. Me la talk thank you lo coach lo me Peter Pulu lo. Same training me, because I'm former runner na I'm go training me lo how training himself. Go through and training me come now. I mean I talk lo thank you lo family lo me lo house. All ko pray lo me lo time to training lo me na start one time me supporting me. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you lo big man.
We'll go for a short break now, and when we come back, Sports Scene continues. Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Now, a string of incidents which occurred straight after the Digital Cup Grand Final match between the Hella Wigmen and Victor Snacks Tigers have left some spectators physically hurt and properties damaged. PNG NRLC and its venue partners, Old Search National Football Stadium, when asked about the incident, responded that incidents outside the vicinity of the stadium were not their responsibility, but showed sympathy to those that were affected.
PNG NRLC, following reports on one of the daily newspapers on Sunday, referred to it as an unfair reporting and that the incident happened outside of the stadium. According to the daily report, opportunists smashed vehicle windows and physically assaulted a female supporter of Lay Snacks Tigers. Those involved in causing the incident were apprehended by the police following reports, but were later released. According to the photo on the front page, the fight may have started from within the stadium.
Great entertainment for all our rugby league fans. Great entertainment. So that means that our fans feel safe when they come to a venue. They enjoy the game, and all our players especially, and our referees, you know, they are free from any intimidation at all. So, I think all our public and all our rugby league fans recognise that over the last 3 years especially, PNG NRLC, together with all our venue providers, we've worked very hard to continue to develop the sport that we all love. Sometimes these reports can tarnish and provide an imbalanced view of what was otherwise a great event. So the stance of PNG NRLC, over the last few years we've taken a very strong stance against violence, particularly spectator violence. So we are quite shocked at hearing about these alleged incidents. We strongly condemn this type of behaviour by these opportunists. So I understand the police were involved, and the dog squad were involved, and they managed to handle the situation. So we're very shocked at it. We are quite concerned for the welfare of these persons, the alleged victims, and we sympathise with any trauma that has been caused to them.
Digicel Cup CEO Stanley Hondina says there are certain rules and regulations set by the board that teams are to abide by.
Our competition is guided and grounded by rules and regulations, that we service those rules and regulations in terms of playing. and we have boundaries and limits to operate within. Certain things are outside of our jurisdiction, and certain things that are controlled and managed by us within our jurisdiction. The incident that happened yesterday, it's something that we are not going to isolate and push out. Yes, it surrounds the game, and they came to our game, but it was a matter that happened too quick and outside of where we were and beyond our control. We've had a great partnership with NFS. We've hosted great games here. We started the season to the end. We had a great grand final 2018 last year. Similar turnout, similar crowd, similar game result. Nothing happened. This was an unfortunate thing that came about. And
Hondina described the article as an imbalanced reporting, questioning why it made the front page.
The reporting that happened in the paper, there are so many good things that we can report about. There were people who walked the track to come and support the Tigers. Back in Ella, they were running up to a place where there's a reception that they can sit down on a TV and watch Ella Wigman running onto the field. These are reports that should have got the front page coverage and the story to tell what the game is doing in this nation, as opposed to what was reported today. That was an isolated incident that did not warrant a front page hit out. And I must strongly stand out that we strongly refute the report that came out in support of Ella Wigman. Ella Wigman have strongly refuted this, and they are not happy with it. They have isolated the incidents. It's nothing to do with their supporter base, their crowd. Although they were the losers and it spilled out to be that way, the report stands out to be confirmed. We don't know who did it, what happened, what transpired afterwards, but we should be together promoting what good comes out of the sport for this nation and supporting it. So,
Venue General Manager Lee Pokorop says it is their responsibility in making sure that safety of those attending the games is provided at all times at a highest level.
From the perspective of the All Search National Football Stadium, we also are very strongly opposed to any form of behavior disguised as passion that impedes on anyone else's basic rights of safety, rights to enjoy the game in a peaceful setting. These are the things that those involved in venues will understand, that we contend with these from a game to game basis. Obviously, from a stadium perspective, we're very concerned. We share the same concerns as Adrine and Stanley and the NRLC for the safety and well-being of those who have been allegedly affected by the aftermath of the games. We've had the benefit of seeing the evolution and progression of the Digicel Cup competition. By and large, the fans have bought into the idea of raising the standard of the game. The standard of the game has improved on the field, and the standard of supporting has improved as spectators. And once in a while we get these challenges, and how we meet these challenges defines how we progress moving forward. And the commitment certainly from the stadium, and I'm sure from the NRLC, is that this is not going to deter us, this is not going to define our partnership going forward. Our commitment to deliver a great product that ticks all the right boxes to make it a family and community sport, and bring it back to be having the moniker of the greatest game in the country is still strong.
Unfortunate turn of events there, but hopefully the PNG Rugby League body looks into it and puts some harsh penalties on whoever that was responsible for it, because from what I understand, it started in the stadium and it came out. So we'll be following that story. We'll keep you posted. Even spectators and general public went onto social media expressing their disgust at this mishap that happened over there. It shouldn't be the case, because we've come a long way with this sport and we can't be going backwards now. Anyway, moving on a lighter note, 2 PNG Kumul stars will feature in the first week of NRL finals over the weekend. Homegrown centre Justin Olam finds himself staring down the footprints of former legend Marcus Bai, who won the 1999 grand final with the Melbourne Storms. Olam gets the first taste of finals footy with the same club exactly 20 years days later. The minor premiers take on fourth-placed Canberra Raiders on Saturday. Fellow Kumuls hooker James Seguiaro is expected to come off the bench for the Brisbane Broncos as his side takes on Parramatta Eels on Sunday in a do-or-die match with the winner to advance. Seguiaro has the experience of finals football, while Olam is still swimming in uncharted waters, making his own piece of history. We'll head up for a break now. Sports Scene continues after these short messages. Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. To netball, preparations for the 2019 National Championships is currently underway. This event will be happening this time in Goroka. Kilawani with this report.
Goroka town will be beaming with over 1,200 netballers as they play host to the Newcrest PNG National Netball Championships in a week-long netball action starting on the 18th September. Netballers from all 4 regions of Papua New Guinea will compete to their best for a placing in the squad for the 2020 regional qualifiers. Confirmed associations are expected to put forward their strong teams to battle in this tournament.
All 12 associations have confirmed to come as far as East and West New Britain from the New Guinea Islands. Southern region obviously has the majority of the netballers going up, but we also have the Highlands region in Jiwaka and Goroka, and obviously from Omase, Islay and Medang provinces. So the appetite to go is huge. They're going with big numbers. We expect about 1,200, 1,300 players and officials all in a space of 1 week. So, Goroka will have a lot of beautiful girls and women around the place for that period. That will be held from the 18th to the 23rd of September in Goroka. Who haven't hosted this event in a very long time. So all netballers are excited to go up to Goroka in the Eastern Highlands province.
In this week-long tournament, Netball PNG aims to select athletes for the 2020 Regional World Youth Qualifiers in PNG, leading to the World Youth Cup in 2021 in Fiji.
The focus of these national championships will be really on the juniors, selecting probably some talent from across the country and not necessarily only from Port Moresby, but from other associations who have been, who do the hard yards and may not be as skilled, but have the potential to be nurtured. So we want to identify those. So I think the selectors will be pretty busy.
Beside the competition, PNG Netball will be conducting its annual general meeting, which will see the election of a new board. Newcrest Mining Limited comes on board for the second consecutive year with their commitment to supporting this annual event.
I just want to thank our naming rights sponsor, Newcrest Mining. They've been very supportive of netball for the last 2 years, last year and this year, and through the Triple Man, Triple Mary brand. That's a brand that netball associates with, because it talks about gender-based violence and empowerment of women and girls and boys for that matter. So I just wanted to acknowledge the support from Newcrest Mining for their generosity to Netball PNG.
To basketball, and the newly established POM Basketball Association is staging junior basketball trials in the nation's capital. The Tauranga Aquatic Centre lit up with a lot of interest from potential players.
Over 200 kids turned up for the junior basketball trials, staged by the newly established Port Moresby Basketball Association at the Tauranga Aquatic Centre in the nation's capital. POM BA Interim Committee Lawrence Lahari, John Vare, Virgil Honey and Larry Miro are currently running trials before a full competition draw is finalised.
The Port Moresby Basketball Association is a brand new association that was formed by myself, John Vere, Virgil Hani, and also Larry Miro. Basically, over the last couple of years, junior basketball hasn't been active, so we decided that in the city we come up with organized junior basketball. So junior basketball starts from under 10, under 13s. They're the mixed basketball, under 10 and under 13. Under 15 and under 17 are both boys and girls divisions, and also the under 23. We're also running A grade and A reserve basketball competition as well, which is every Sunday here at the Tarama Aquatic Center.
With the aim of reviving basketball and giving a guided pathway to the sport's future, Lahari said there hasn't been any junior competition in the past few years in the nation's capital, and with other provinces already underway in their respective junior comps, the nation's capital is no exception.
So the junior basketball already PNG has hosted I think it was the under 15 Oceania Championships here. We just participated in the under 17 Oceania Championships in New Caledonia. So there's a lot of junior competitions that our players are going to, our junior basketballers are going through. And so we need to ensure that there's active basketball competitions. I understand in Lae, Alotau, and around the country, there is some junior competitions, but we want to ensure that in the big city, Port Moresby, we also have the junior basketball competition as well.
A number of teams have showed their interest in the trial games. Lahari wishes to see schools and other interested clubs in the competition.
Now, I'm appealing to any other junior basketballers out there, both boys and girls, if you're interested to come and play. Please come along on Sundays. This Sunday is Independence Weekend, so there won't be any games on, but it'll be on the following Sunday as well. So we're looking for as much juniors as possible. Through the Port Moresby Basketball Association, we'll also be writing to the schools as well to see if they can put in teams as well. So just over the last 2 Sundays, there have been trial games, and hoping to have organized competition by the start of, by the end of September after independence.
The second trials last Sunday featured Chariots and Kaugere, both under 17 boys teams and the girls teams. It was clear to see the potential displayed by these youngsters, who now have a chance to make their dreams come true through this competition. With so much interest indicated by the kids in Port Moresby, Lahari calls for support from both the government and the corporate community.
Yeah, so we've written to NCDC, hopefully through the community development program, through Mr. Killer Dick, we can be able to get some support. Hoping to do that. Over 200 kids come in every Sunday morning, so we need the support by the corporate companies.
PNG athlete Adrine Monagi will be replacing Rayleigh Caputin, who is currently battling injury. That story coming up next. Welcome back. You're watching Sports In. Now, the International Association of Athletics Federation, or IAAF, World Championship is fast approaching. In fact, it runs from the 27th of September to the 6th of October this year. Unfortunate news for PNG champion athlete Rayleigh Caputin, who misses out due to injury. However, it's an opportunity for 24-year-old fellow champion Adrine Monagi, who has been called up as her replacement at the Games. Our reporter Bradley Valanaki caught up with her at a training session.
I'm pretty excited. I didn't expect to go to the World Championships. We all knew that Rayleigh was gonna go because, gold medalist, won the Oceania Championships. I I wrote my proposal. After the PAC games, I had 2 weeks off. First week I was a little bit sick, so I had to recover. Second week I went through active recovery. So during those 3 weeks, 2 weeks of my active recovery and then coming back the third week for training, I decided to write my proposal and send it into the Federation for other meets, not the IAAF World Championships. I sent in my proposal and then they came to POM for a meeting. That was the time they asked me to go and have a meeting with them. I didn't expect to be nominated. I was expecting other competitions like on my proposal. But after they reviewed my proposal, all the executives, they came up with a decision to nominate me. So when I went in for the meeting, they discussed the proposal with me and then they told me that we nominate you to go for the IAAF World Championship. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. Yeah, it's a great achievement.
Training-wise, how are you feeling at the moment?
I feel pretty good. It was good that I had 2 weeks off after the PAC games because then my body needed to recover well and then come back hard on training again. So when I came back from training, I did active recovery just to get my body back into training. I did 20 to 30 minutes jogging and stretches, a few gym stuff, light stuff. And then on the third week when I came back, I just hit the track. I felt pretty good. Like I felt that my form was still there. Yeah, so training is pretty good.
All right, so basically it's all good for you. You're not a new face in this arena. You've been to a couple of games in the region and also the Commonwealth. Now tell us about that.
It's pretty good. The experience is there. I've been to the Commonwealth Youth Games. That was my first game, my first international travel. That was in 2011. Yeah, 2011. And then I went to the IAAF World Junior Championships and then 2 Commonwealth Games, the one in Glasgow 2014 and then 2018 Gold Coast. So the experience is there. It's very good to compete against other countries and be competitive, yeah. It means a lot. It means, to me, it shows that I'm taking one step ahead and, you know, especially putting in my proposal. That's the first thing. That's the first time I've ever done something like that. And I think it's going to show a good example to other athletes. Like in my code, like if you want to go for if you want to go to other competitions, then you have to show up at the track and know that you're training hard. And then in order to back you up on that, at least put something on black and white and hand it to the Federation. Then they will have a meeting with you. Yeah, so pretty good.
The recent Regional Oceanic Rugby Cup in Port Moresby may be over, yet while celebrations conclude, it's a rediscovery period for the sport in PNG as it tries to find its feet after an impasse in its administration. In this next story, Pukpuk's coach Billy Rapila speaks of his view of the sport and what it means to have 15s rugby back on shore.
There's great challenges within the union. The way the team got set up, the team selection wasn't ideal as what we've done in the past, and the last Foro Cup being the last 4 years ago hasn't really given us much standing to go by, but the guys had a lot of belief. The team itself comprised of a lot of new players. We had 12 debutants make the Pukpuks in this particular campaign. And we were just really enthusiastic and happy about the fact that we're back playing Oceania rugby at international level, and it's great for the code itself. So it was a great week for us, and yeah, we're quite happy. We're very happy with the result in actual fact, because you know, playing in front of your home crowd doesn't come too many times.
Moving forward, as a passionate rugby union player and now coach, what would you like to see happen around the 15th second?
Well, basically a lot more organization around the local unions, making sure that you know, they get their competitions up and running to expose their players, you know, more. Selection at the national level gets a bit more competitive when we get the national provincial championships in place for next year, definitely it'll be a lot more competitive. And just in general, rugby has to come back to the area where we know we're good at, which is making sure that our competitions are thriving and supplying the national team or the provincial teams with really, really good chances for our players to get looked at. And that's something that each union has to really try and do at this moment. There are a lot of challenges, and I think PNG Rugby is slowly getting its feet back. But I think all the unions out in the centres must do their bit as well and contribute towards that success going forward, putting our rugby back where it belongs the most, and that's back on the paddock, getting the players playing and being looked at for higher honours.
The government says that it's looking towards rugby union in a more positive way to support. As a coach, apart from coming from the outside, what do you think should happen to rugby union in Papua New Guinea in terms of its administration?
Obviously get its house in order, and I know they're working hard towards that. That's something that the game needs for the game to thrive. Obviously the unions that are out there that are passionately running their code needs that support coming through. So, the announcement of the government's really keen, says a lot of things about the game itself. It is a growing sport. It is a worldwide sport that needs to be enhanced, and we've been there before. It's not as if it's something new to us. We know where we've been. We know where we can be, but we can't do it without everyone contributing wholesomely towards the one cause.
We'll go for a break now and we'll wrap things up when we come back. Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Now, unfortunately, time has caught up with us, so this is where we'll leave you. But before we go, there's a number of things happening over the weekend. I, for one, will be covering a number of sports, including some sports carnival that will be happening for Independence Games. A lot of activities will be happening for all your outside centres. Do go down to your local sporting venues and show support. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Independence activities happening. Apart from that, check out these events coming up over the weekend. There you have it. Now, if you would like for us to cover any of your events or any interesting story that you know of, you can always email us at sports@emtv.com.pg or message us on Facebook. That's our Sports In page, or call us on 312-9200 and ask for any member of the sports team. Once again, thank you for watching. I'm Dinero Sraiko. Happy Independence. Good night.